Hello guys, so welcome back to another video, and today we're back again with my mom. And so now let's pick up the conversation where we left it at our last video. So in our last video we discussed about, is if everything's predestined, then who is God? nahi. Why is everything predestined? So if everything's predestined, so what is karma? Why is karma?
Okay, with all due respect to every belief in the world, I'm going to say something which might offend a few people and which might make quite a few people burst into a roar of laughter. But please, no offense to anyone or anyone's beliefs. According to me, according to what I believe in, karma is a lollipop. Okay, how is it a lollipop? Because कर्मा इज अ लॉलीपॉप जो भगवान ने हमको पकड़ाई है. God has given it to us, so that we don't feel useless. Everything is predestined according to me. Why do we think about a particular thing in a particular way at that given point of time? And sometimes even 10 minutes or even 10 moments later, after making a certain decision, we would think about the same thing but in a different way. So why does that happen? I mean, we're the same people, and it's not like our brain just got evolved in 10 seconds or 10 minutes. That really doesn't happen. So that is what my take is. I mean, of course not everybody believes in it, and not everybody can believe in it also, if you think like that.
You can't just.
You can't, yes, see, because, even if I believe in the fact that karma is a lollipop, but that does not stop me from doing karma. That does not stop me from taking decisions. That does not stop me from cooking food, or from taking food into my plate and then eating it. I mean, you can't. That does not stop me from thinking कि if everything is predestined तो मैं छोड़ देती हूँ. अब मेरा खाना खाना किस्मत में लिखा होगा तो मैं खा लूँगी. खाना खाना किस्मत में लिखा है, ये फैक्ट है कि खाना खाना किस्मत में लिखा है, और वो किस्मत में लिखा है तभी मैं खा रही हूँ. और मैं मुझे वो खाना चम्मच से खाना या हाथों से खाना, वो भी मेरी किस्मत में लिखा है, इसीलिए मैं खा रही हूँ. एंड बहुत बार ऐसा होता है घर पे खीर पूड़ी बनी हुई होती है, बट अगर नहीं होती, एक टाइम पे अगर नहीं होता कि आपका ये है कि आपको उस दिन भूखे पेट ही सोना है, सो यू probably you'll have a stomach ache, or you'll get food poisoning from somewhere, or you'll get a stomach infection from somewhere, or you'll just have a very severe and a very bad headache and you wouldn't want to eat anything and you would just want to go off to sleep. So it is already written in your quota or your destiny or your whatever you want to call it, or your hisab kitab that supreme power keeps. So it is already written there. It is already planned. This is what you're going to eat today, and these many grams of atta you're going to eat, this many liters of water you're going to drink today. So this is my take on it, not necessarily everybody's take on it.
Alright. I'm still digesting. But next question. Everybody has a different take on God. Everybody thinks about God in a different way. For some people, it might be Lord Shiva, Vishnu Ji, Brahma Ji. For some people, it might be Jesus Christ, Allah. What's your take on God?
What's my take on God? My take on God is, हम लोग अपने दिमाग को डिकोड नहीं कर पाते, and we're talking about understanding God.
No, matlab, how do you see God?
I just see God as a supreme power, one supreme power that's ruling the entire universe. That supreme power, because it's not easy to just connect to an a thing with no form. It's not easy. That is why idol worship is easier than non-idol worship, because you have a form in front of you, right? So when you have a form, it's easier to connect, and that is why that supreme power, took forms, various forms, different forms. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahadev, Parvati, Lakshmi, every, these are all different forms of the same power. I really don't believe anybody is superior or inferior to anyone. There's just one supreme power, and in our lifetime, in our n number of lifetimes, we cannot understand, and we'll never come to know who God is. Probably not until moksha, and after moksha, as they say, you're one with that supreme power. It's not easy to you cannot understand it. It is beyond your understanding.
Beyond what? The widest thing one can imagine.
No, you can't imagine. At least I can't. And I really don't think that any human being can imagine. I don't think that. Okay. There's an organization. There is a CEO, a person at the top. Okay. And then there are various levels of, there's a hierarchy. There would be and there's a chairman, the CEO and chairman, then there is an MD, and then there are managers, and then various levels of employees. Now, can the employees really understand what the CEO is a CEO for a reason, okay, and the janitor is a janitor for a reason? So, can you really understand, or can the janitor, or or even the main manager, or even the let's say the MD also of that company, or the president, vice president also of the company, can they really understand what's going on in the head of the CEO? If they do, they'll be very easily be able to beat the CEO, or take over the CEO, or take over the firm or the company. Can they do that? They can't. So if in the human world we cannot, can you try and understand what's going on in Elon Musk's mind? No, you cannot. Can you even try to think the way, let's say, Mukesh Ambani or Anil Ambani thinks, or forget them, Narendra Modi thinks? Can you understand how Narendra Modi's mind works? No, you cannot. Because he's a genius. These people are geniuses. So we, as not so genius people, cannot understand the minds of genius people. So we as human beings, how can we be so arrogant as to even think that we can understand what God is? How can you? I mean, He created you. He created the entire planet. He created the entire universe. Absolutely nothing in this universe is useless. The existence of mosquitoes is also not useless. So, mosquitoes give us diseases, cockroaches give us diseases, right? But they're not useless. So He is the master planner, and no human being, absolutely no human being, can understand God or the ways in which He works, or she works, or it works. We don't know if it's a he or a she or a it.
I prefer the word it because we don't know what it sounds. But still, my take on God is a very, a bit more, I would say, the way Arya Samaj people think, the Arya Samajis think. They think, as much as I know, they think that in Arya Samaj, mysticism and all this is some they talk about it, and they believe that it is an energy which is uh, you know
Scientifically and non-scientifically, everything in the universe is an energy.
and the best form we can give to the energy is Om, because it is everything and it is nothing. No one knows the meaning of Om. The deeper you get into it, the more messier it becomes. You can't understand it the way you can understand.
On the other hand,
anything.
it's not really that complicated also. How is it not complicated? We know, like I know, that it's a supreme power. Yes, it is an energy. It is that massive source of energy which is giving energy to the entire universe. That massive is this particular source of energy in question. Now since we're talking energies, everything is energy. Okay? And as per the definition of energy, it can neither be destroyed nor created. It only changes its form, right? So there is energy inside of me, and when I'm talking, it is just changing into noise or voice or whatever you call it. Sound energy, yes. These kids are studying. So, मंत्र क्या होते हैं? A particular set of words, when you recite them in a particular way, they give out a particular frequency. That frequency keeps, going on in the universe. It's always there in the universe.
So what we are talking right now
is always going to be there in the universe, and will come. That is why they say that, always talk about good things, say positive things, because what you say is what you're giving out to the universe, and the universe is going to send it back to you, because it's always going to be there in the universe, and someday or the other it will strike probably some mountain and resonate back to you. I have experienced it in my life. There is this there is this thing which is going on a lot these days, and you see it on Instagram also a lot, manifestation and the law of attraction. I have experienced it myself. The law of attraction is what you think about the most is what you will attract. So if you're very scared all the time, you will attract more fear. The universe does not understand the word no. And I read it somewhere, and I heard it on Instagram in one of the reels, that human mind, and it's a fact, human mind is incapable of understanding negative notions. Like, if, let's say, the example that was given in that reel was, a person who's going to ski on the snow, skiing, you never tell that person that, don't look at the trees. If you tell him don't look at the trees, the only thing that he'll be able to see is the trees. And he'll eventually hit a tree and accident, boom. So what do you tell that person? Follow the path. That's it. That's what you tell. That's what you tell. That's what you should be telling your mind. This is how human mind works. You tell it don't look at the trees, you are going to look at the trees. If someday, I have seen this happening with me. If someday there is something which I don't want to happen, and I keep thinking about it, आज ऐसा ना हो, आज ऐसा ना हो, आज ऐसा ना हो, चलो उस दिन ऐसा जरूर होगा. That day, that particular thing will definitely happen. Yes, because that's what I'm thinking about. The universe doesn't understand the word no. The universe will not listen that I do not want this to happen. The universe can just feel that I am thinking about this thing. So if I'm thinking about this thing, the universe will be like, okay, if you're thinking about this thing, maybe this is what you want. Fine, take it. So if you don't want to be, let's say, poor, if you don't want to be poor, just don't think about, just don't think that you lack money. Don't think. Just think that you have a lot of money. Don't behave like it, but think that you have a lot of money. Believe it within you. That will happen.
Universe is ruthless.
Universe is not ruthless. Universe is not ruthless. If you look at it the other way, probably the universe was created like this for a reason. So that we always think positive. Next question, you want to ask something?
Next question was a comment on my first video, which was Myth Saga, when I used to do also gaming on the channel. So someone commented that why the concept of Trimurti is not in the Vedas, but it's the essence, it's the root, it is the root of Hinduism. So in this, it is my opinion. I don't know about any other, how do other people think on it, that if we see if we just go with the Vedas, Rig Veda is all about hymns dedicated to gods, and gods Indra, Agni, Chandra, Surya, Vayu, Varun. So all the forces of nature. Because even if we see it historically, the ancient Vedic period is also known as the Rig Vedic period, which means the Rig Veda was the only written thing which was there. And so at that point of time, people used to worship more the forces of nature. So there were the Holy Trinity, but that wasn't in a very.
That wasn't the Holy Trinity. They were just three.
Yeah, they were just
devas, just three gods.
Yeah, just three gods. But as the later Vedic period came, the people settled down into Aryavarta, into the land of Saptasindhu. People started writing Yajurved, Samved, and Atharvaved, and in those Vedas, they are dealing with occult practices, they are dealing with medicine, they are dealing with warfare, they are dealing with rituals, elaborate rituals. So the idea didn't strike into their minds. But as people started writing Puranas, Vishnu Puran, Shiv Puran, Kalki Puran.
अच्छा कल्की पुराण भी है.
हाँ.
This man has his research. For his age, this man has his research. I can vouch for this.
Garud Puran, all these Puranas, when they were writing these, they saw the stories, they saw them. Then when they wrote these things, they made these three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, at the top. They put these three gods at the top, and just to give these gods some companionship, they gave Shakti, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. And with what they are doing, for Brahma, he is the creator, he is the god of knowledge, the goddess of knowledge. For Vishnu, he is a king.
So you think that the people who wrote these Vedas and everything in the later Vedic period, they are the ones who?
They created the Tridev. They didn't create Trimurti.
This is the kind of version when I listen and I'm like, हम यहाँ बैठे बैठे भगवान को डिकोड करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और भगवान ऊपर बैठा बैठा हंसता रहता होगा कि तुम कौन होते हो मुझे कंपेनियन देने वाले भाई साहब. मतलब इंसान में इतनी ताकत आ गई कि वो भगवान को कंपेनियन दे रहा है.
But it's true. It is what I know. It is my world. So, and Vishnu is the king. He's the preserver. He's king. So king has wealth. So Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. At last we come to Mahesh, Lord Shiva. He is destroyer. He is an ascetic. He is the he has all the power in the universe. So for me, I will personify the energy which we were talking about as Shiva, because as Ardhanareshwar, because a man isn't complete without a woman.
Most of the world sees that energy as Shiv or Shakti. Most of the world.
So that was simple.
I'm no scholar. I have no knowledge about Vedas. I am not a religious person. I am a spiritual person. Okay? I am a spiritual person. But yes, if I have to connect to a form, I think the only form that, I connect to all the Hindu mythology, yes, all the Hindu gods, but if there is one form that I connect to the most, it is Shiv and all forms of Shakti. Like, when I say all forms of Shakti, I mean Sati and Kali, Parvati. Not even, actually, less than Parvati, it's Kali. Is that form of Shakti that I connect to.
She is, because Kali is the real personification of nature.
I don't know about that.
Kali is the real personification of nature. Kali is wild.
And nature is wild.
Nature is wild.
Right.
Kali has matted hair. She doesn't oil them. Kali runs naked. Kali is ruthless. She kills anyone. But she has a soft side. She has soft side because when
Is this your interpretation or did you read it somewhere?
I read about it and then I interpreted it in mine. So it is a
It's a mix.
it's a mix.
I'm proud of this boy.
So when she steps upon Shiva, she is ashamed. She is ashamed that I stepped upon the cross of my own husband. That's why her,
Her tongue came out, yeah.
So we were upon Trimurti,
Hmm.
the conversation
Ah.
went somewhere. So the Trimurti, as I was speaking, the people wrote Tridev. And as we modernized, we saw these Tridev as three supreme gods. We created, there are photos of all of them standing together. We said this is Trimurti. So Trimurti was never an original concept from the native
Vedas.
Aryans or the Vedas. The concept came from us. Concept came from our minds. So it is never that Vedas or Aryans, these people wrote them. We made Trimurti, they made Tridev.
देखो एक बात हर किसी को हमेशा याद रखनी चाहिए. Be it mythological history or be it modern world history. What we read, what we study, or what we read, or whatever there is available, I personally believe that none of it is 100%. Absolutely nothing is 100% true. History, be it mythological history, be it modern world history, history is always manipulated. Why is it manipulated?
One can't show how it all happened. One can't.
No.
Sure.
Why is it manipulated? There is a concept of good and bad, good and evil, right? Now, it is easier to, make people relate to somebody as, okay, it's like etched in stone in our minds that the hero will always do good and the villain will always do bad. Okay, right? That's not the fact. It doesn't happen like that. Every person has a good side and a bad side, and a lot of times the hero has to do something bad to get things done the right way, to do the right thing. You know, as they say, अगर घी सीधी उंगली से ना निकले तो उंगली टेढ़ी करनी पड़ती है. तो a lot of times the hero has to bend his ways to do the right thing also, and a lot of times maybe what one particular person wanted to do was right, but the end result of it came out to be bad, and then everybody said, dude, that's the villain. But maybe it's not like that. Let's say Ram and Ravan. Ravan was a scholar is a different thing. It's a different thing. A lot of terrorist group leaders are geniuses and scholars. That doesn't mean that they cannot be evil. You know, what I'm trying to say here is that Ravan kidnapped Sita, right? Wrong, very bad. Nobody should abduct anybody's wife, daughter, son, mother,
Why
father.
should one abduct anybody?
Yeah, one should not abduct anyone. Okay, but at the same time, he was a king, right? He also had to set example in front of his praja, right? Example for what? His sister was humiliated. His sister was wrong. She went after a married man and said that I want to marry you, right? And the married man refused. That look, you might be, you know, as pretty as Aishwarya Rai, but listen, girl, I'm already married, and it's a love marriage, and I love my wife like anything. So there's no scope of any other woman. Plus, I am Maryada Purushottam Ram, so forget it. Okay, so I'm really sorry, except for my wife, every other woman is either my mother or my sister or my daughter. So, sorry, not gonna happen. And then she got wild and she got very upset. And then to calm her down, Lakshman ji is the one who cut her nose off, right?
Yeah.
Lakshman ji cut her nose off. Pehli baat to why did Lakshman ji have to cut her nose off? That's very bad. Very, very bad. I mean, you're cutting a part of a woman's face. Or, I mean, that time though, और भी ज़्यादा all a woman had was face value. Although not really. I mean, women were really, you know, more than just arm candy in those days. But yeah, I mean, how can you?
You are disfiguring her.
Yes, how can you do that? So what Lakshmanji did was bad. He was not supposed to do it. Okay. So, excuse me,
Wait a minute.
you can't be leaving the conversation in the middle of it.
No, I wasn't leaving.
So, you can't do that. So what Lakshmanji did was wrong. It was bad. So obviously, who would she go back running to? Her father, her husband, her brother. So no husband in this case. No father also, I guess, in this case. Or the
No.
father though was Rishi. And so there's no point of going to the father. Now the brother is the king. So if Modi becomes my brother, what do you think I will do at the slightest, you know, discomfort that I have? I'll go running to Modi ji. I'll say, dude, you're the PM and you're my brother. Now I am facing this discomfort. I don't know how you're going to, you know, do it, but do it. Now maybe Modi ji will not do it because he actually is an amazing PM. But what if Mukesh Ambani becomes my brother? So her brother was in power. So she went to her brother. भैया देखो मेरे साथ क्या किया. अब भाई का तो खून खोलेगा जब बहन की नाक काटती. तो रावण ने क्या गलत किया? लक्ष्मण जी ने किया था ये काम, लक्ष्मण जी को सजा मिलनी चाहिए। आपने सीता जी का अपहरण क्यों किया, है ना? बट
इसके पीछे रीजनिंग दी गई है कि शूर्पणखा ने रावण को उकसाया।
तो वो रावण की गलती है, कान का कच्चा किसी को नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है? वो रावण की गलती है, और वो भी जब आप एक राजा की गद्दी पर बैठे हैं, आप कैसे कान के कच्चे हो सकते हैं? इट मीन्स यू नॉट अ गुड राजा, देन यू नॉट अ गुड किंग।
नहीं, कान का कच्चा नहीं,
कितना भी उकसाया, द डिसीजन।
शी सेड कि वो बहुत सुंदर है, वो बहुत ऐसी है, वो बहुत मतलब गुणगान किए सीता के।
हाँ ठीक है।
सो उसके बाद फिर
And then he thought that, no, I really don't believe this. I really don't believe that Ravan had abducted Sita for her beauty. He did not. If he had abducted Sita for her beauty, instead of keeping her in a Shok Vatika, he could have kept her in his bedroom, which he did not do. It is also said in Ramayana, as far as my knowledge goes. I am no scholar here, okay? So maybe what I am saying is all wrong also. So please excuse me if there's anything that I say which is not, correct as per the scriptures. So it is also said that he never visited Sita alone. His wife always accompanied him. If he was so, if actually, if this was what was going on in his mind, that because she's very beautiful and that is the reason that I want to abduct her, he wouldn't have gone to visit her with his wife. Which man does that? Does any man go to visit his girlfriend along with his wife? Come on now.
No.
So this version does not make sense. It logically does not make sense. Maybe what I'm saying is wrong. Maybe what is written in the scriptures is right, but logically doesn't make sense. So yes, what he did wrong was he abducted Sita. He should have, if he had to abduct only someone, abduct Lakshman. At least वो तुम्हारा सामना करने के लायक तो होंगे, वो तुमसे लड़ने के लायक तो होंगे। तुम्हें वो तो लिटरली अबला नारी थी। She was also an avatar of लक्ष्मी जी।
Yeah.
पार्वती का अवतार तो थी नहीं जो काली का रूप धर लेती, लड़ने के लिए चालू हो जाती, नहीं ना?
हाँ।
लक्ष्मी का अवतार थी ना, तो वो तो लिटरली अबला नारी थी।
लेकिन but every goddess has a fierce side.
Every goddess has a fierce.
Every goddess
fierce side, yes. But सबसे ज़्यादा prominent fierce side तो पार्वती का ही है ना?
हाँ, हमें बाकी जो goddesses हैं
उनका fierce side शायद ही कहीं दिखाया गया होगा।
एक दो जगह ही।
हाँ।
नहीं तो नहीं है।
हाँ, तो फिर that is why, so तुम एक अबला नारी को उठा करके लेके जा रहे हो भाई, क्यों? वो तो तुमसे बेचारी पलट के लड़ भी नहीं सकती। Yeah. Don't you think the video is now how much? My God, this is a half an hour video. Who do you think is going to watch your video?
Last question.
Okay.
Enough of Eastern cultures. Let's go to West. Let's go to Israel.
I have no idea about that kind of mythology. What do you want to ask?
What Bible is? It is a the Old Testament of Bible, especially, is the compilation of the first 5 books of Bible, which are also called the Torah, which is the holy scripture of Jews. After that come all the books of other people. So what Torah is, it is from Genesis, the first book, to the book of Moses. Where the book of Moses ends, after that people started writing their own revelations. That didn't count in Torah. So those were other books. In Torah, so people say in Torah there are prophecies. Prophecies, if there are people who decode these things and they take out that this much line and then they translate it into English and then they publish. There is a book called God Code, which is totally about all these things, all these what do you say? These prophecies, which
I think
were
we should
written.
leave this for the next video. This is getting really long. Nobody's going to see this.
All right, as you wish. So, guys,
Really sorry for making it so long, and if you're not really watching it till the end, you're missing out a lot of interesting conversation and food for thought, food for the soul, and the rest to the young man. Come on, conclude.
so this was all. It was an amazing conversation. We'll keep it on in other parts of dive into mythology beliefs with my mom. Till then, bye bye and namaste.